So here we are live at the IBF World Championships again. It's the men this time, and the final is between Singapore and Korea. They've been warming up for the last few moments, and they're warming up for an action. Singapore and Korea. So Korea have been blockbusters in these championships so far. Strike after strike, just missing out on a perfect 300. And a man who was with me at that time in the back of the booth, fresh from winning his gold medal, and we'll be getting some glimpses of that. The world champion, the trios team in the Team USA. AJ, you're here, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Glad to be back in the booth. Unfortunately, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wish we were bowling right now in the men's final, but I'm glad to be joining you here for this one.
I'm surprised you've still got a voice. I would imagine there'd be lots of singing and dancing and lots of jovial surroundings last night. But I suppose you guys are you're in comp, aren't you still? So
yeah, we're still fired up, ready to go for our girls team, who we just saw win the women's gold, and then we have a mixed team in the final as well that I'm going to be standing behind and cheering for just as loud as I have been.
So just for any viewers who didn't know, I was chatting to AJ earlier on tonight, and AJ was going to be on the comms with me in the commentary with the last games that we just saw. But the ladies said to AJ, you need to be with us, you need to be behind us, you need to be supporting us. And you went, and we saw you, and you did the magic, my friend.
yeah, it definitely paid out. It was a little interesting, just like it was last night. You know, went to the roll-off and had a little bit of drama added to the finals, but in the end it paid off, and I'm so happy for them. Those girls have struggled this whole week and have had a lot of games not go their way, and they made it go their way this in the women's team, and they put together some great games to get here on this stage, and then they bowled absolutely fantastic in the finals. And so to see it pay off for them this week and for them to all go home with that gold medal is 100% worth it.
Well, that's what it's all about, and of course we've seen lots of enjoyment in the whole surroundings here at Expo 2020. This is Team Korea. Now, these guys have been putting together some very, very big scores. They were on for a perfect 300 score about an hour and a half ago in the semi-finals, and nearly made it for the first time in the IBF Championships outside. And this isn't going to be a 300 score, but they were so close, AJ, weren't they?
Oh yeah, and I think we got a glimpse of it last night. We bowled Korea in the men's trio finals, and Korea has notoriously had a very, very, very good team over the years. They train, you know, almost religiously together, and you know, they compete a lot together. They, you know, it seems like they almost live together.
Yeah.
But they've notoriously had a great team, and they've shown it. You know, they've put together a lot of strikes. They got some great talent on that team, and they work really well together.
But they've got a lot of young talent as well, and experienced talent. I mean, some of the younger members of the team, 16, 17 years of age, and of course with some of the more experienced players in the team. We've got a match on our hands tonight. So just to remind you, this is what we call a race to 2. So it is basically the first team to score 2. However, of course, if it becomes a tie, as we said, we go into a 9th, 10th game roll-off. I think I've got it by now, is that right?
Yeah, it's happened twice, and it's and I'd hate, I don't want to make any curse or anything like that going forward, but it seems to be the common theme with the U.S. team so far. But it's paid off for us.
Well, you're going to have a long night tonight if that's the case, because of course you're going to be behind the mixed pairing teams, of course, against Singapore. Sorry, yeah, that's right, against the U.S. Against Sweden, sorry, in the finals tonight. It's how do you feel when you're behind your teammates and they're on the edge of not doing something that they want to do, win, and then they come back and they win? How does it must be like, the emotions must be crazy, right?
The array of emotions is you go from one side to the other, and you feel every shot with them, and you throw every shot with them, and sometimes it's almost harder being the one in the back. You know, that's why, you know, I've always said the coaches have, you know, one of the hardest jobs, because all they're doing is giving their players the best chance to perform, and they have the utmost nerves for them. They live and die on every shot with them, and for us as players, being behind them, you know, we feel the same way, and it's just as nerve-wracking as us. You know, it's almost like we're more calm being in the moment, throwing the shots, than we are standing behind watching.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a good clear up there from Korea, of course, with the spare. They are doing. How are we looking on the scores at the moment, AJ? Are we up to date?
With Singapore having an unfortunate start with 3 open frames in a row, they're a bit behind here. Korea got off to a good start with a strike, and then, you know, just spared their way the last 2 frames with a couple of shots that they didn't think was right.
Yep.
But they have an very big early lead.
Now, if I was going to give you a little insight, the Korean team have, as I said in a lot of the commentary tonight, last night, and the nights before, have been, you know, literally machine-like, robot-like in their performances, and how they get strike on the strike on the strike. It's phenomenal what they do.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course, last night you derailed that machine, of course, and did it in a way that only you could do it. And of course, as you were the one, and your teammates, of course, but you were the one. How did you feel last night in that last roll-off, in that moment when, you know, everything? I know the team have been involved, but everything's down to you.
Sure. And you know, there's a lot that goes into that, and there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of communication with us and our coach. That I don't think many people saw, but you know, there was a lot of things that went into that decision, and our coach looked at us, asked us how we felt in that moment, and every single one of us looked at him and said, "We're confident, and we want to win this, you know what." And he made the decision to go with what he did. And at any moment, every single one of us are going to be behind.
So that was the coach's call to put you in that spot.
That was the coach's call, yeah. We communicated it together as what we felt like was the right play. And right before that moment, there was a lot of things that, you know, that transpired. You know, Jacob left a 7-pin and missed it in a match that was pretty close. And for our coach to send him out in that 9th frame, that first shot, shows a lot of confidence that he has in us.
It certainly does indeed. We'll get more onto that fabulous victory for you last night in a moment, but we are, of course, in the men's final currently, in the middle of Singapore and Korea fighting it out. However, at the moment, Korea have a very solid upper hand in this men's final for the IBF World Championships. But we could see, I don't know, do you call it 2-zip if they kind of 2-up? I mean, if they win this 2-0 in this particular race to 2, is that the phraseology you use in bowling?
Yeah, it's a phrase we've heard quite a bit around the world. In the States, we call it 2-0.
2-0, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go with that. In England, we call it 2-0.
2-0, yeah. I heard that a lot. I like watching tennis, so I hear that quite a bit.
Okay.
And but yeah, in the States, 2-0, 2-0, all that good stuff.
2-0, okay, that'll sound good. We'll kind of use everything because we've got an international audience all around the world, and of course it's great for you. Well, great for us to have you with us tonight. We're really enjoying it. So we're looking at the action here. This is the men's finals, the men's team finals, of course.
I watched, you know, that last frame by Singapore. Looks like they made a little bit of an adjustment based on those first few frames. You know, obviously they don't want to get down. They don't want to be down like that. You know, Singapore's been a great team, but, you know, a couple unfortunate splits, and I just don't think they're really seeing that lane. It looks to be like a little bit tighter down lane than what they're accustomed to. And what I mean by that is that, there seems to be a little bit more oil that's been dragged down in front of the pocket, where before they had a little bit more friction. You know, when they bowled their semifinal match, they were bowling on the leftovers from the teams before them, so they had a little bit more friction to throw to. Whereas now they got the fresh, and every time you oil the lanes do get a little bit tighter. And I think they're feeling that right now. As you can see, the ball's not really doing what it's supposed to down lane.
We saw that in the last match, actually, where the ball wasn't seeming to be biting on this right-hand lane as much as it was doing originally.
Right.
In the mid stages of the US game, it was just not gripping and getting into the head pin a lot. But then it suddenly changed, and then it gripped and took out the pins like it was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
These are the moments. These are the moments, and of course, it's all about the action here at the championships, the IBF World Championships coming up, of course, for us here tonight. And we are very, very happy to be with you here tonight. And of course, it's a super, super evening that we're going to be seeing, of course, the action that's coming up your way. It's a great night. We've loved your company, loved all of the features on social media. And of course, it's all about that. It's all about that indeed. So, as I said, we're holding up with the action. But I'll tell you what we do. Do you know, earlier on tonight, we said that we talk about a man who's won the gold medal. Here we are. AJ, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And it feels
Let me
really,
feel
really
it.
good.
I didn't realize how heavy this actually is. It's quite a heavy thing. This is a World Championship medal. Now, AJ and I were chatting last night. We were talking about this opportunity for you to be a world champion. And you said the hairs on the back of your neck, on your arms, were raising up. You wanted that title so much. And of course, this is the man who led the US team with his teammates, of course, to the world title, and of course is the new world champion.
Yeah, you know, we got a team that's absolutely fantastic. We got a team full of guys that would step up in that moment, and we would 100% be behind them. I was just fortunate enough to get the call by the coach to throw those shots, and my teammates.
It is a team game, you're right.
Exactly, they entrusted in me in that moment, and to see the confidence in their eyes and to feel the trust from them, and everything that we've done this week made it very easy to throw those shots.
Do you know, I was very proud. I mean, I'd only met AJ a few hours before, a couple of days ago, and then we went on comms together. You then became, you know, part of the Trio World Championships, and you know, it's a great look. We've got a quick replay for you. Have a look at this. Let's see this bit of action coming up in this game. AJ, what happened there?
So we see that a lot back in the States. It does not.
Okay.
So anytime that the ball enters the gutter, no matter when it is, it is ruled dead. Okay. So even if the ball were to bounce out, hit the pin,
again, yeah,
it would not count. But we see that quite often in the States, you know, where the gutters down by the pins are a little bit flatter, and if they go in at a certain angle, they kind of bounce out and they'll hit the pin. But once the bowling ball goes into the gutter, no matter when it is, it's ruled dead. Okay, well, there you go. There's a man who knows, because there's a man who is a world champion. And, of course, we have AJ alongside us for the duration of this one. Korea and Singapore are fighting it out to be the winners of the World Championships. Who are your favourites for this one, AJ? I mean, who are you banking on? You got your scorecard going. I know I've stopped you doing it. You're good. I've been paying attention and watching a little bit with what they've been going on or what they've been doing. Korea, I think, just had a unfortunate split there, but I think they've got a pretty substantial lead in this match that they're going to take this first game. You know, barring anything crazy happening, just don't want to have the whole effect. But you know, I got to say that the favorite in this match is Korea, based on the fact that they've already been on these lanes before. They were here last night. They're bowling today. They almost shot 300. I know. And they feel they're comfortable. And that's a big thing when you're competing in an environment like this, is getting comfortable and feeling confident in the shots that you're making. So I got to give the upper hand to Korea in this, especially with the track record that they have as well.
And don't forget, if you want to watch the bowling in a brand new way, you can download the Strike Cloud 360 app as well. We were watching AJ's final last night using the app, as well as watching our TV monitors here live in Expo 2020. So download the app, and basically you can watch 360 views of the arena here. You can choose the camera angles. You can get rid of people like me if you like and watch the bowling, which is probably more important. There you go. As our director suddenly thought just there as well. But yeah, that's the way that we're working here, and of course using this fabulous technology that is here at the IBF World Championships. Okay, we're getting to the end of these games. Korea just missing out on a few pins there.
Korea had an open in the last frame. The split's not necessarily converted all that often, so I would think that this would not be made and this would be open, so it makes the match a little bit more interesting. But like I said, unfortunately, with Singapore starting the first 4 frames open and not putting together a few strikes there early on, I think they need quite a bit more to take this first game.
Okay, well there we go. These are the final stages, the closing stages of this one. So that was that little effort that we talked about before, where you're trying to get the pin to come off the side wall to take off the cross pin there. That's
correct. Yeah, you want to make sure you go after the ones that to get count. You want to maximize the count, obviously, with a split, but also with how that ball is coming across those pins. If he catches it right, he'll send the one in the back over, and it'll slide over and take out the 10 if it's done right.
Well, there we have it. We're back to the action. We're holding up, of course, for these super finals. This is the last day. It's a culmination of great events Hey, by the way, AJ, you've obviously heard already that the doubles USA team in the para versions of the event tonight won the gold medal as well. That was a great result for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun watching them compete last night. And watching our boy Eddie take home the gold medal.
Do you know, I met Eddie on the way out last night, who is the men's para singles final winner last night, and I met him. What a nice man he is. Yeah. What a nice guy.
They're just a joy to be around. They were ecstatic to be here. And he told us right before he started, a couple of us were over there helping him with some ball choices. And he said he was nervous because he was just so excited to be here and be a part of Team USA and compete. And they love what they do. They do this all the time, and they just love it. And for us to see the enjoyment in their eyes and in what they do just makes it even more rewarding for us.
Well, the reason I kind of brought that up is because we're in the home of Expo 2020 here in Dubai, which is an amazing event going on for 6 months. This week's theme is inclusivity. This is the theme of Expo this week. And it is amazing that, of course, the para-athletes are part of the team. It's great to see everybody inclusive. They're winners, they're gold medal winners, and they're going to be featured on all of the networks over here and around the world, as well as you guys as well. And everybody's on an even par. That's what makes it special, this sport. It does, you know, everybody's on a level terms. Everybody's got a chance to shine. And bowling's done that for everybody.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more. So there we go then. We are just at the final sections of this first game.
These last couple of frames here, I know that was a little bit of an errant shot for Singapore, but these last couple of frames for Singapore are going to be important for them to really get comfortable and feel confident in making an adjustment here so they can get the ball to strike a little bit more consistently. Because like we said, with the race to 2, this first game, now that it's over, you got to put it in the back of your head. You got to wash it away, get rid of it, and focus on the next game so that so they can force a roll-off here. So these last few frames are very, very important for them.
How do you guys as players feel about this format, that race to 2 that you guys were involved in last night? Is it nerve-wracking, exciting, better, different? What's the kind of feeling from the players in this format of the game?
It's a little bit of everything. It's a little different. We don't have a best of 2 type of style back home in the States and on tour. Most of the time it's best of 3 or best of 5 or best of 7 if we do that. So the best of 2 is a little bit different. It can be a little nerve-wracking at times because you can get off to a great start, win that first game, but you can't get overly excited with it because you've got to focus up and go after that second game. Because if a roll-off is forced, it's a quick 2 frames there. But I think it also brings in a lot of excitement, especially for people watching, because the matches can go any way. And then when you come down to a 9th and 10th frame, you got 4 shots to make it count. And I think it makes it very exciting for people to watch.
Talking about exciting to watch, Gunji, the player that you're looking at now for Korea, has been amazingly exciting. This guy has been powering down that ball.
He's been lights out. I think he's all of maybe 20 years old, and he is throwing some incredible shots.
There you go.
There it is.
Do you know what, the bowling gods, if there are such a thing, are with him tonight, because we've seen that 7-pin stick all night with shots like that. And look at this. Watch this.
He not only sent one over there, but there was another one just in case.
That's like sending in the cavalry, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That was like Custer's last stand, and they surrounded that pin and it had nowhere to go.
There's a great player, and I'm pretty sure that I had heard that he had retired from the team, but there was a great player named Choi Bakum that was a lefty for Team Korea. One of the most decorated athletes for Team Korea to ever play for them. And this kid has a lot of tendencies and a lot of I don't want to say expectations, but he's showing a lot of promise to fulfill the shoes that Choi had left with that team, because the kid shows no fear. He stepped up in moments and thrown some great shots for them when they needed him to. And he shows a lot of tendencies and a lot of promise, just like Choi did in his time.
Well, that first game is over in the final for the men's team event. Korea are 1 up, score 198 versus 136, so quite a comprehensive win for this one. The second game is about to continue here now. If Korea win this, they're the world champions. It's as simple as that. I'm sure you got it already. Because if we see Singapore come back, we go to that roll-off.
You want to know the one thing I love about this guy?
Go on.
His emotion. I mean, obviously, if you couldn't tell last night, I'm all about the emotion. But I don't know if they cut to him right after that, but my man, when he strikes, he makes sure everybody knows about it.
He was rock and roll gold last night. He was rocking his head like he was part of some, like, the Rolling Stone. There we go. Let's have a look. What's he going to do tonight?
Wow, a little subtle there.
Mind you had some looks going last night, my friend. You had that kind of steely-eyed kind of, it was like the emotion of AJ had exploded into Dubai Arena last night.
Yeah, that was, you know, I've learned over the years, you know, when I bowled in college, I tend to, you know, I like to get excited. You know, bowling with a team is fun. It's supposed to be exciting. And when you can throw great shots and you can get the momentum on your side and the other team can feel it, it has an effect. Yeah. And so, but over the years, I've learned to control that emotion early on so that our team can throw great shots, get to where we need it to, and when you have that shot that matters, you let everybody know.
Because I suppose emotions can be good, but they can also be negative as well, because if you let things affect you and if it kind of takes you off your game, it's even harder to come back and dial back in again, right?
100%, and that's, you know, that's where we talked about the other night with the mental game. You know, where we get to this level, the mental game in our sport is 90 to 95% important, where the other 10 to 5% is physical, because everybody at this level physically throws it well. It's that mental side that if you can overpower that or overcome that, and you can get through some of those times and get through the negative ones, and not get too high with the highs, too low with the lows, and just kind of work your way through. Those are the ones that usually come out on top.
Well, we are talking about who's about to come on top in this men's teams final tonight. And Korea are ahead. They had that amazing semi-final. Let's see what they can do here.
Wasn't the greatest shot.
No.
Yeah, came up a little bit high there on the head pin. Fortunate to get 9 there. Should be routine spare for them. But what you do notice is Singapore is off to an early double. They did a really good job of just forgetting about that first game, making some good adjustments, and they're looking to force that roll off here.
So this could tell, and this could see where the pressure changes. Of course, they got that double, and of course, what's that saying? Yeah, Singapore, yes, very well done. Team Singapore. There we go. Oh.
Is that like an app or something that they have?
You download them. It's called, one of them's called Banner, I think it is, and it kind of, you can write things. My friend got lost on a beach once and just held it up in the air, and you can find.
It's incredible.
A concert, I hasten to add, not just amongst people in sunbathing outfits,
sure.
But yeah.
Whoa,
look at that.
That one got over there in a hurry.
Didn't it? Is that the extra whip in the wrist that you saw there with that action, or was that just?
You know, that's really good carry there. It's caused by, you know, the rotation of the bowling ball that's going through the pins, sends the head pin over to the wall, and if nothing gets in the way, it'll hit that wall and come flying right back to take out the 10 pin if nothing else has already.
So you guys have been playing all of the teams, and we're looking at Korea again here now, since like the 6th of November. How are your arms, your forearms, your wrists, your legs, your knees? How's everything? Powerhouse for Korea. How's everything holding up? Is it all good?
Yeah, everything feels great. You know, a lot of us at this level really do take care of our bodies. We all try to eat well. You know, I'd be lying if I said that we haven't spent a few nights of, you know, working with a couple of different like Arnicare and BioFreeze and things like that we've used to just help alleviate a little bit of tension in wrists and forearms. But overall, I think across the board, everyone feels good. When you compete this many days, you do get sore.
Yeah, exactly.
Your body is swinging a 15, 16-pound object next to it, and you're having to repeat shots and throw shots every day.
I don't know how you guys feel. I get sore sitting here watching it and commentating on it. I've got different areas that are sore though, but we won't go into that. But yeah. Sorry,
I love it. I love it.
There you go. That's what you get from the British commentator in a world game here. The IBF World Championships live to you from the heart of Dubai. And of course, we're in the middle of the desert, and we are in the middle of a men's final, the team finals here at 2021 in Dubai. Making a spare there, Team Korea. Sorry, Singapore. Very vocal support in the crowd there, very vocal support indeed. So Korea, can they make this? That's the ladies Korea team member. She's going to be in the mixed teams coming up next after this final. That'll be the last final of the championships. It kind of, you know, when you start championships, you know, you think to yourself, oh, we've got all these days to go, all these championship matches to play, the finals to come. And at some point, it seems a long time, and then suddenly it's over.
It's
right?
over.
It's done.
Yeah.
Everybody goes their separate ways.
It seems like when you first get there, it's like, you're like, all right, be patient. We got a lot of time here. We got a lot of days, a lot of bowling, and then you get to the end, and you're like, whoa, where did that go?
Where did that go?
What happened? You know, we're getting on a plane tomorrow morning and heading back home, and it seems like we just got here.
Well, yeah, I had all these plans for Dubai. I was going to do this, I was going to do that, I was going to go there, and before you know it, well, you're off on a plane. So what time are you guys back to the States tomorrow morning?
I think our flight leaves around 9, shortly after 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But our bus is leaving the hotel to go to the airport at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, we'll try and get this all wrapped up for you nice and early tonight, AJ. Don't want you getting in bed and getting all kind of, you know, bags under your eyes, because you're going to have a lot of photographs taken of you when you get back to the US, I'm sure, you and your teammates. So, Gung-ji, back on to the lane. The man who stood out in virtually every game he's played in. Let's have a look at him again here.
It looks like another great one from him. Just doesn't get any better. That's pretty good. And he's been doing that a lot.
He is, as I said, one of the most complete, again, from a novice's point of view, that complete bowling action, you know, it's like pendulum-like. It literally can't go wrong, it seems. Hang on a minute, we're looking at somebody actually wearing a phone now.
He's wearing it.
How is that even possible? Either he has a chest made of metal and he's got a magnet on the back.
It's something. I don't know how he's getting it to stay there.
Either that or he's got a big bit of gum on the back of it and he's ruined his shirt. Let's hope not.
Up until now, this match was dead even. Singapore leaving a week 10 there, so they should clean this up and start stringing some strikes together, because Korea doesn't seem like they're going to let up at all.
No, I think that, you know, I called this when Tom was in the chair earlier on. I said to him, you know, it's one of the things, this commentator's curse for a team to call it early. You know, after last night and the way that Korea played, and you guys came out, but tonight I think it was going to be their night, and I think, you know, deservedly so, because they bowled brilliantly, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Absolutely.
So here we go again. So we're looking at the possibility now. They're already one up. A couple more strikes into the bag. Let's see what happens here. It's not just Gung-ji who can get strikes.
It's almost like they're all standing behind one another. They just press a button on their back and like, yep, repeat, repeat, repeat.
It certainly is. Crowd loving it. Do you know what? I have to say, the Koreans, the Singapore, in fact, every fan group, the Swedish people who we met earlier on, the crowd here not only know the game of bowling, but they love the game of bowling.
Absolutely. It's been that way all week. We've had a lot of people at the bowling center, too, behind us and supporting everybody. And the one thing I've noticed, and I always wish I knew what they were saying, but
yeah.
the Asian countries, Singapore, Korea, Malaysia, Thailand,
yeah.
like all the Asian countries, when they bowl individually, you don't hear them very much. But when they bowl as teams, when they bowl doubles and trios in the team events, it's almost like they have a competition as to who can yell the loudest. Because when they bowl together, the bowling center gets loud.
Yeah, well, this is we're witnessing here. Team Singapore, there they are with their. Is it going to? Do you see this in the States? Everybody holding their cell phones up, AJ, with messages to the crowd when they're on a TV
show? The first time that I ever saw that was when I went and bowled in South Korea at the Samho Cup.
Okay.
We went. That was the first time I went over there, and we were bowling. We'd come back and we see everybody holding up these phones and sayings on it, and it's the first time I ever saw that. I'm like, can my phone do that? Because I didn't know that.
Well, the guys are teaching the world new tricks, and these guys are certainly teaching the world how Korean bowling is looking at the moment. Let's see what they can do. Now that in bowling terms is not bad. Oh my word!
What just happened?
Did that just do what I thought it did?
What just happened?
That, I don't know. Tom Clark.
I turned and looked at you for just for a quick
Clark
second, and all of a
me,
sudden the pin was gone.
Tom Clark said to me, keep looking at the pins, keep looking at the pins. You can stare them down. I said, no way.
Oh, no.
What's happened?
What happened? Where'd the pin go?
I don't know. We just keep going. We're gonna follow. There's a pin rolling on the floor, and it's taken out the 10.
Oh my goodness. And
I don't. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't seen a pin rack that slow to allow pins to move around that much, and I don't know how. I don't think ever.
Wow.
That rack took a long time to come down to pick up the pin and respot it. That doesn't happen all that much.
Well, don't forget, we were playing that back in what we call super slow-mo. So the rack
Sure.
looks like it came down a lot slower. So our director is telling me that was a super slow-mo version, but still.
But even in real time, that was so slow. I didn't even know where that pin came from. I thought it was in the back.
I thought something had... I don't know what I thought, actually, quite frankly.
I thought
you and I had turned to each other, and then we turned around, and the pin was down.
Yeah, I thought a pin actually, another pin out of the pin center had dropped out of the pin deck and just knocked it over.
Well, you have seen heard two very confused commentators there.
Wow.
But that's, well, we're talking about world first at the IBF World Championships, and there's another one there.
Yeah, and then Singapore right after it gets an unfortunate break with a pocket 7-10.
You can see that the Koreans know that they have those bowling gods alongside them tonight.
I'm pretty sure this match is all but wrapped up.
I think we're right. We're looking at the team that are going to be crowned the men's world champions for 2021. Let's wait for another pin to come jumping out somewhere.
Yeah,
and
are we going to wait for another one here, or is this one going to grab it?
So we've got supporters all over the crowd, and of course players. You're looking at Sun Jin Yang there. She's going to be competing. She's up in the stands with the supporters. She's going to be competing in the mixed teams coming up next. Loud noises going on in that Korean support, isn't there?
I wish I knew what they were yelling. I wish.
Do you know what, AJ? After this game, I'm going to go and find one of the Koreans who speaks English and ask them what they're saying.
Yeah.
We'll kind of nip this in the bud for good. We'll find out. Okay?
All right.
So there we have it. We are in the final stages. AJ's been calling it. It is almost...
This game is mathematically over.
It's all done. Mathematically, we're looking at the world champions elect. Korea are the new world champions. We have to finish these sections, but of course this is now not for glory. It's the moments that they dream of, and of course they train for, and they've flown to Dubai for.
Now these guys are they've notoriously had great teams. They always bowl well. And I had a feeling that if they got to this match, that they were going to come out on top, because they bowled really great together last night, and forced us to show up when we needed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hats off to them. They're a great team.
Well, it just shows, the performance that they put on tonight, that was the performance they were doing last night, but it just shows how good Team USA was last night,
Yeah, I like to think so.
No, exactly. That is, I mean this, not because you're here, and we've worked together before, but it is the fact that you guys overcame a powerhouse in bowling. These guys are, they're no pushovers, are they?
Not at all.
And of course, this is the final stages of what has been an amazing match. The girls, the ladies know it. The Singapore supporters know it. They're still...
Hats off to Singapore.
Yeah.
I've competed across the world, across a lot of the players from Singapore. They've got a great team as well. They've bowled great this whole week to get to this moment. Nothing to hang their heads about.
And a way to finish it up there for Korea. You are looking at the world champions, ladies and gentlemen. Team Korea are the men's
See, there's the emotion.
There
That's
we
what
go.
I was talking
It's
about.
like the light switch suddenly gets switched on, and you can celebrate now, guys. Up
That's
you go.
right.
And congratulations
Well
for
done,
Korea
Team
for winning
Korea.
the gold medal.
Now the medals are going to be handed out to Team Korea, of course, in just a couple of moments, who are the gold medal winners for 2021.